It's that time of year again, time to get outside, make a campfire, but the problem is once you get out there, if you're anything like me, the only thing I know how to do is roast a s'more. Now Susan Powell here is going to teach a class that will change all that. It's called Outdoor Cooking. Susan, tell us a little bit about this program. Let's start with what you're going to learn with open fire cooking.
Sure. So it's not just about cooking s'mores like you said. You can also cook more deluxe things. We have a campfire nachos recipe that's really great. That'll be one of the things we talk about there. But also figuring out a way to use charcoal within the fire to use a Dutch oven here. So
okay, show us that.
It's pretty great. I actually baked a Dutch oven this morning. So we got some apple cobbler here. You guys will have a chance to do that.
Great.
The cool thing about this class is that you're going to get to try between 8 and 10 different recipes.
Well, when you're cooking a Dutch oven, so you just let it die down and you just set it on the coals. Is there any more to it? Is there a secret that us laymen don't really understand?
Sure. It's all about how many coals on the top and bottom. You don't want to have. Yeah. So you put coals on the top and on the bottom, and if you have the right number, it actually cooks really evenly and it doesn't burn on the bottom.
Which is why it's designed with a little lip around the edge here.
That's right.
All right. Well, let's move on a little bit to what you have here. What are these things right here?
Sure. So we have some backpacking stoves. This is a really simple one. It only weighs about 3 ounces. So we'll learn how to use that one. We'll use how to use this one. Learn how to use this one, which is more for group use, really sturdy winter use.
Very lightweight if you're backpacking.
And then the lightest, we're going to talk about some ultralight backpacking stove. They'll actually get to come away with one of these when they finish the class. So we'll have to build one out of
I don't think I've ever seen something like this. What is it called?
It's a cat food can stove. So you actually empty out like a little fancy feast 4-ounce container, and you punch some holes, and you actually have a really great stove that a lot of Appalachian Trail thru hikers use.
All right, tell me more about this because I'm just fascinated. How does it work?
So you pour a couple different types of fuel. I use denatured alcohol. It burns really cleanly, but you can also use something called heat, which you can find in gas stations, which is really convenient for hikers. You pour a little fuel in the bottom, you light it right there. This is actually your pot holder and your stove all in one. The flames come out the side, and then you put your canister right on top here, and you got
it sits on the cat food can.
Yeah, and it'll in about 10 minutes you'll boil about 1 liter of water.
All right, now what are some of the differences between what you can actually cook on a small stove, whether that be a camp stove or something homemade like this, versus open flames and the Dutch oven style or even hobo packs?
Sure, yeah. So, even with some of the backpacking gear, you can still cook some pretty fancy meals. So with this, I make a pretty delicious salmon pesto pasta that we're going to learn about. You're just boiling some water, adding some pasta, throwing some pesto homemade that I like to do in. Same thing with these guys. These are a little sturdier, so even in winter you can have some pretty deluxe meals. But the nice thing about using a campfire or a Dutch oven stove is you can make things like meat that you maybe wouldn't make, say, on a backpacking trip with, when you're car camping.
All right, finally, let's move on to the Coleman here. Talk about some of the deluxe camping cooking, as I would call it.
Yeah, so this is more for a car camping stove here. So it's pretty sturdy. You can put, maybe a 4 or 5 course meal on here. So we'll show you different types of pots and pans that work really well here and what kind of stuff you can make. You're going to have a chance to try out 8 to 10 different recipes while you're here.
So you get to eat the food, you get to take home the recipes, all of this, and spend 4 hours with you, of course,
That's
Susan.
Right.
It's a great class, and it's going to be held March 12th. Find out more about it at RoanokeCountyParks.com.